Hi there, thanks for joining me. Today I have a fun pop-up card for you, and the designer paper is the star of the show today. There is a spooky Halloween stamp set that goes with it, and you can always use this. We are using one of the sentiments out of the set for this card, but if you have past Halloween sets or something like that, you could always use any sentiment, because the star of the show, like I said, is the designer paper. So if you haven't seen the paper yet, we are going to be featuring this. And I have this piece of paper that is in the set. There's lots of different designs in here. And on one side, you have the more basic tones that you can use. But when you flip it over, that's when like all the fun stuff happens. Let me see. I've used so much of this. So let me see if I can. There's like a gray one, the white, the timid tiger, the black, and there's a petunia pop, but I'm not even sure I have much of that left. But on the other side, oh, here it is. It's on the other side of this one that I'm using today. You have all of these fun designs and tags and things like that. So I've used the banners and the tags in my past videos, so if you haven't seen them, then you can check that out in my playlist. I'll list those below. And then we have these fun spooky cats with the windows, and I love the colors in this. And then we have the candy, and let me see, I think there's one more. Yep, this one right here. It has all these fun characters on it, so these would be fun to fussy cut out or use them as your background. But the piece that we're using today is the petunia pop on one side, and then this side, it has like these little houses in it, and I thought this would be fun. I used my other piece of paper for this card right here. So we're going to have to modify the house a little bit, but what we're going to do, I think this would be super cute on the bottom of a scrapbooking page. So I'm going to show you how to cut this. And this piece here in the background, it needs to be 4 inches, and none of these are quite 4 inches. So we're going to have to modify, like I said. I think I'm going to use this one. And this little guy here, he is also out of the designer paper. So on top of all the fun designs that you get, you also get lots of these pop-outs. There's 2 sheets in the package of designer paper, and there's like these fun trees and the hippo, and actually the hippo, he goes both ways, so you can decide which way that you want to put him. And then there's like this, let me see, what is he, a bird or a crow, or I'm not sure. He is happy there. Here's the crow with the pumpkins, and we have the colander with this bubbling over, so you could always pop this up on here. We have brooms, lots of different things, potion bottles and kennel, or what's that called, candy corn, and all sorts of stuff. So this is in the designer paper as well. So like I said, you do not have to have the stamp set for anything other than a sentiment on this card. But this is super cute, and it does have all of the dies that match. So you can get this as a bundle and save 10%. I've been doing lots of creating here, so I've got lots of little dogs here. So you have all of the coordinating dies that match all of these down here. Plus you also have these standalone dies. So you've got the bats and the fence and the haunted house, and then this fun element here. And it creates this design like that. Or you could go, it folds right there in the center. So you could have it going, let me see, how could I show this to you? You could have it like that. So it's just a really fun element that they added to this die set. So lots of fun things that you could do with it. Like I said, you could get it as a bundle and save 10%. You can also get this whole set as a suite. So you would get the dies, the stamp set, the ribbon, which let me show you. Let me pull in this ribbon here. This is, I love this ribbon, it's petunia pop, and it's iridescent on both sides. So you could get this as well. And then you can also get these fun, they're shimmer star foam stickers. So I like how they actually cut them apart this time too, because I keep my embellishments in these passport containers, and so I like that I can split them up and slide them right in and they still fit with no problem. But they've got sparkle to them, so here's the white ones, and then they have the purple and the black. But I want to show you, if I can zoom in here, see how they are foam and then they squish down, because let me see, how can I get a, see how they are squishy like that? So they flatten right out to nothing. So it makes it really nice to put them on your card. You don't have to worry about a lot of extra bulk or anything like that in your scrapbook or on your cards. So you can also get all of this as a suite too. And if you like Halloween like I do, then you want it all. And I do have to order more paper because I've been making tons and tons of cards, and I haven't even done my scrapbooking pages yet, so I need some more. I want to show you one more card here that we are making this one today, but I made another card that I thought was super cute that I used the cat on this, and it folds out like this. So you could use all of these little elements as pop-ups in your card, and I thought that was super cute. I did a little bit of ink blending, and I have the bats that are in the stamp set, and then you got like these little twinklies and the bats. I used it all pretty much on this one. So just a lot of fun creating with this set. So what you need is, we are going to start with a piece of 4 1/4 by 11, and we do have to do a little bit of scoring on this. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard here. And what we need to do is we're going to score this at 1 inch. Just make sure you can see here. There's 1 inch. And then we're going to do 2 inches. And then we're going to slide it down to 6 1/2. Okay, and then you have another piece of cardstock, and this is 10 1/2 by 3/4. And I'm not, let me see. Yep, I already cut it down. So we are going to score this at 5 1/4. So basically, you just want to score this right in half. I've made other cards where I've made this piece a little bit longer, so it stands up here a little bit more, but I kind of like it a little bit shorter. So whatever size that you do, you just want to make sure that you score it in half. So that's scored at 5 1/4. Okay, so let me get this out of the way here for a minute. So what we're going to do, we have a piece of designer paper, and this is going to be a little bit short, but that's okay, because let me bring this card back in. You're not going to see the very bottom of it because we are going to put an element over it, and this kind of covers it too. So we could go ahead and glue this piece on. Let me turn it around this way. Okay, so there's that. And then what we need to do is, this is your basic card that you're going to fold in half here. And then you have these 2 score lines down here. So we're going to score the first one a mountain fold, and then this one right here is going to be a valley fold. So that one's up and that one's down. And now you've created this fun little element here. Okay, so the piece that we're going to put on the back of here, this is going to be, like I said, a piece of this designer paper. And I think that this one right here is the biggest one. Let's see here. Any of these would be super cute. So this is 3 and I don't know, 3/8, not quite 3 1/2. That one's too small. I think this one is almost 4, and we need it to be 4 across and 4 1/4 down. So what I'm going to do, I need it to be at least down to there. So I think I'm going to just cut this off right here, because Like I said, I think this would be super cute to use on the bottom of a scrapbooking page. You could use that and then put all your characters behind it. And then I'm going to cut this one. Let me just cut it right here where this house ends. Okay. And then we will modify this piece to make sure that it fits. So like I said, it needs to be 4, so it's a little bit short, but it needs to be 4 1/4 long. So I'm just going to cut that little bit of piece. It's like the sidewalk. I'm just going to cut that off. Okay. And you don't want to throw that away, because actually we could use this. We could probably put this along the side of it here. So that's what we'll do. We'll take a few pieces. Let me see, I got several here. These are just scraps that I've cut off. And if we just put a little bit on each side, like I said, they don't have to be even because we are going to cover them up. But they do have to be 4 1/4 long. So let me see. This one will make it. I don't think that one will. This one might make it. No. So let me get a piece of 4. Actually, this one will fit down here. So this one looks like it's big enough. I guess it's not. So let me, like I said, you could always use scraps. That little bit is not really going to be showing, but let me modify this piece of paper here and we will make sure that it goes all the way down to the bottom. So this one, let me see, this one will make it. So I'm just going to cut a little, 2 strips here. I'll just do maybe a 1/2 inch. And like I said, they need to be 4 1/4. So we'll just cut that little tiny bit off. There's always a way to modify your paper if it's just coming up a little bit short. And this paper is so colorful and fun. So, okay, so I can use all these other strips for another project. I am not worried about not using those. But what we're going to do is we are going to glue these down on the sides here, and that will kind of make up the difference of our house being a little bit too short. So I'm just going to line them up here. I knew I had too many strips and that one was not working, and I cut both of them at 3 3/4 inch. Now we got it. Okay, so I'm just going to pop these up on the sides here like that, and then I can put this right over top, and all that does is that paper just kind of fills in our house, and it coordinates with, you know, like the rest of the card and the things that are in here. So I think it looks really cute. So we're just going to glue this down here. And we just want to make sure that we have even sides here. So we have just as much showing on one side as the other. Just like that. Okay, so that was one way that you can just modify that paper when you come up a little bit too short. Just extend it a little bit like that. All right, so now we have this piece here. And if you've never seen this card before, then you are just going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of this, and it sticks on the front. And then you're going to put glue on the back of this. Now, I chose to put on this card because the door was in the center. I thought it would be super cute to put it in the center and then have the hippo walking in. I didn't want to block any of this paper. I thought it was nice. So this one, I could put it over here, but then I'm blocking my pumpkin and my crow. I could put it over here, and really the only thing I'm blocking is the leaves over here. So I may do that. I may put this one over here to the side because, again, I don't want to block the window or the cat or any of that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this over here. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is this comes all the way down to the bottom. And this one I cut, but I didn't like if I put it on there and I didn't cut it. You could see it a little bit here. Even though I put the designer paper on and I popped this up, I could see a little bit of it down there and it was kind of bugging me. So you can always leave this if it's no big deal to you, or you can just cut a little bit of that off. And that way you still have to make sure that your back side is on there straight down at the bottom. But when you flip it over, you're just going to put glue right up here at the top, but that way you won't be able to see any of that down there. Okay, does that make sense? So we can go ahead and glue this on. Actually, I don't want to glue this on yet. We are going to put our fence on. That's what we want to do. So we need a couple of these little pieces of fence. So I'm going to get my die out here. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my fence, and then I have a piece of black cardstock, and I usually don't cut up here. Let me zoom out a little bit. There's not a lot of room right here to see, so let me see if I can get this all in here. So I have my fence in there. I could always double this paper up and cut them both out at once. So we have one. See how easy that just popped out too? And then we need one more. Sometimes if they don't pop out, you could just kind of smack them down. Sometimes they pop out. And if they don't, if they want to be stubborn, you can just take your poker here and grab a hold of it. So I cut out 2 fences so that it goes all the way across. Okay. So let me bring this one back in so you can see. So we are going to put the fence on this piece right here, and I'm putting that piece of designer paper over it, and that's why I'm just going to put it right there. That way it'll be like tucked behind there. You could always put it on the back side of this fold if you wanted to, but I think it stands up straighter if you put it on the front here. So we're going to do that. Actually, I do need to put this on first. I'm sorry. We do have to put this on first because I want my fence to be in front of this. So let's go back. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So we are going to put glue. Oh my. You have those days where you just need to clean your desk. There's stuff everywhere. And some days it just falls everywhere. So we are going to put that right there. Again, it's all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to flip it over, make sure I have it in the right spot. I want to slide it over just a little bit. Okay. So we're going to push that down. And then I'm just going to put glue on this little bottom right here. Don't need a whole bunch, it's just going to hold it onto the front. And I'm kind of sliding it over this way a little bit because I am going to put this hippo on it and I don't want him to be hanging off of my card. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And that way I can still see the cat and stuff. So it looks like he's going up to go trick-or-treating. Okay, so now that we have that on, I can take my fence pieces, and I'm going to use my tweezers here just to hold it. And I'm just going to put glue down here at the base of this. And I'm just going to put it just like that, just on there. And then I'm going to get my other one, and this one is going to overlap just a tad, but these line right up together, so you won't even be able to tell that it's two pieces there. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, and then since these two are overlapping, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on those as well. So we want it just like that. We're just going to hold it for a minute. Line those up a little better. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in my other scrap of designer paper here. So this is going to be 3/4 by 4. And what I'm going to do, see how that didn't matter that that was short, because this is going to cover it up. Okay. So I want to pop this up on dimensionals. You don't have to. You could glue it straight down if you wanted to. But I just like that look of it being popped up a little bit. So I'm going to put this right on here. Just like that. Okay. And then in this set as well, there are a few of the bats that are the dies. So I have a few of these left here, so I'm going to grab them. We're going to add these to our card as well. And I also want to stamp my sentiment down here. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper here, just a white piece, and then I have Don't Worry, Eat Sweets. I think that's cute, and it fits all the way across the front of this card here. So I'm going to ink that up in Memento, and I'm just going to stamp it down here at the bottom. Okay. And then I'll bring my cutter back in here. I'll just cut this off. Just like that. Let me zoom you guys back in a little bit. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this. We're going to put this right on the top here. Since I already popped up the designer paper, I'm just going to put this flat. You could also do it the other way around. You could do the designer paper flat and then pop up your saying. So there is that. And now I'm going to add my hippo, and I want him to be just kind of tucked down in here. He can have one foot up like that and the other one tucked in. But I want to slide him over here as far as I can. That way you can still see that cute little cat there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few dimensionals right on this. And I'm going to tuck him right down in here. And I'm going to have one foot out, and then the other foot will be tucked in there. Okay, just like that. Now I can come in with these bats. And I'm going to pop them up with dimensionals as well. Actually, one of them I'm going to. So I'm just going to cut one of these off here. I'm going to have him flying over here. And then I'm going to put the other one, I'm just going to take a little bit of glue and glue him up here. Like that. So it looks spooky. Okay. Now we have the inside. So for the inside, you need a piece of 4 by 4 1/4. So we're just going to put that right down like that. And then I'm going to bring in the background elements that is in the stamp set. They have these fun little stars here. So I'm going to bring that in. And I'm going to use Petunia Pop. We'll sprinkle those around. And then I'm going to stamp No Tricks, All Treats. I'll stamp that right here in the center. Just like that. Oh. And then I got my black fingers on it, so we are going to have to embellish that. It never fails. Every time I stamp with black, I get it all over. But we will fix that. Okay. So, since I got that, we could, I could put a pumpkin down there. I could stamp the broom. I could stamp some bats. Let me see here. Let's see if the bats will cover it. I think they will. I had a friend when I first started making cards and I would mess up, she would always say, "It's not a mistake, it's a chance to embellish." So I still go by that. So I covered it up pretty good. You can't see it. So there you go. There is your cute little pop-up card. Using mostly designer paper. Like I said, it's the star of the show. We'll turn them that way so they're looking at each other. And I hope you enjoyed this one too. So it's lots of fun, and like I said, it is available alone or with the bundle, or you can get this as a suite. Don't forget also that the 25 to 27 in colors is on sale until the end of the month. They're 15% off. So it's all 5 of the new in colors that came out this year. So that is the markers, the blends, the cardstock, the ribbon, all the good stuff. So I will put the links below for the products that I used. Don't forget this is an online exclusive, so you can only purchase it online through Stampin' Up! Or through me, or if you have another demonstrator that you can order it from. But it's only available online, and I hope you enjoy it. And thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.